You know that one big goal you have? That ambition that kind of just sits there on the horizon, looking amazing, but also incredibly far away? Well, what if I told you there was a simple 2-minute blueprint that could make achieving it not just possible, but inevitable? That's exactly what we're going to break down today. So, let's just be real for a second. Think about that goal. Writing a book, finally learning that instrument, getting in shape. Why haven't you started? Or maybe you started and then just stopped. It's a super frustrating feeling. We've all been there. But here's the thing. The reason why has very, very little to do with your actual motivation. For years, we've been fed this line that the problem is a lack of motivation, that we just need to try harder. But that's not the real issue here. The problem isn't you. It's where you've put your starting line. You've basically placed it miles away from where you're standing right now. So let's move it. All right, so section 1. Let's talk about the problem with big goals. This feeling actually has a name: goal paralysis. And it's exactly what it sounds like. You're so overwhelmed by how big your goal is that you just freeze. You do nothing at all.
It literally feels like you're standing at the bottom of a giant wall. Your goal to run a marathon doesn't feel like taking one step. It feels like you have to run all 26.2 miles today. And because the task feels so impossibly huge, we tell ourselves, oh, I'll start Monday, or I'll start when I'm feeling really inspired. Sound familiar? Yeah, that perfect moment never ever comes.
But what if we could just shrink that entire wall down to a single little brick that you could just easily step over? Well, that's the whole idea behind the solution. A strategy so simple it almost feels like a secret. It's the 2-minute blueprint. And the rule is, well, it's elegantly simple. You shrink any new goal or habit down, way, way down, until it takes you less than 2 minutes, just 120 seconds to start. See, the goal isn't to complete the whole task. It's simply to begin.
So for example, let's say you have this ambitious goal. I'm going to read 30 books this year. That becomes read 1 page. Just one. You're not trying to finish the book or even a chapter. You're just opening the door. Anyone can read 1 single page. And the same exact logic works for physical goals. Run a marathon becomes put on your running shoes. And that's it. That is the entire goal for the day. Once your shoes are on, you're probably out the door, and you might just feel like going for a little walk or maybe even a run. The hardest part is already done. And this right here, this is the crucial mindset shift. You have to let go of the pressure to get to the finish line on day 1. Your only goal is to master the habit of starting. Master the art of just showing up, because that is always, always the hardest part. Okay, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds way too simple to actually work, but there's some really powerful psychology at play here. To get why these small starts win, we've got to look at how our brains are wired to build momentum. It all comes down to something called activation energy. The effort it takes just to get going. A huge goal has a massive amount of activation energy, but when you shrink that starting time down to 2 minutes, you eliminate nearly all of that initial friction. You're basically removing all the resistance that's keeping you glued to the couch. Honestly, it's like basic physics. An object at rest stays at rest. That's inertia. Your 2-minute start is that tiny little push you need to overcome it. And once you're in motion, it's so much easier to stay in motion. You read 1 page, and suddenly reading another one feels easy. You've mastered showing up, and that's when consistency stops feeling like such a chore.
But here's where it gets even cooler. Every single time you do your little 2-minute start, you're actually casting a vote for a new identity. When you put on your running shoes, you cast a vote for being a runner. When you read 1 page, you vote for being a reader. So see, you're not just doing an action, you are actively reinforcing the person you want to become.
Okay, enough with the theory. Let's get super practical. How do you apply this to your life right now? Let's build out your personal action plan. So here are some classic examples. You want to go to the gym? Your 2-minute start is just changing into your workout clothes. That's it. Want to meditate every day? Just sit down and take 1 deep breath. The huge goal to clean the entire kitchen becomes load 1 dish into the dishwasher. Each one is a super simple, low-friction entry point to a much bigger goal. Okay, so now it's your turn. I want you to think about that big goal from the beginning of all this. What is your 2-minute action that opens the door? What is that tiny little gateway habit that gets you started on the path? Take a second. Identify it. Maybe even write it down. So, where does this all lead? This isn't just about feeling good for 2 minutes. It's about how those 2 minutes compound over time, building a real, actual path to success.
A single 2-minute action might seem totally insignificant, right? But the magic is what happens over time. 1 page a day is 365 pages a year. That's a couple of books right there. Putting on your shoes every day builds a ritual that can lead to hundreds of miles run. These small, consistent wins create this incredible ripple effect, and they compound into massive, life-changing results. And please, remember this. You cannot optimize a habit that doesn't exist. So stop worrying about having the perfect workout plan or the perfect reading list. Your only job at first is to establish the habit. Make showing up so easy that you literally can't say no. Improvement, that comes later. This is really a fundamental shift in how we think about progress. Motivation is flaky, it's unreliable. You have to stop waiting for it to show up. Instead, use the 2-minute rule to create something you can actually control: momentum. Momentum is the force that will carry you forward, even on the days you don't feel motivated at all. Which brings us right here to the final and most important question. Don't think about tomorrow. Don't even think about next week. Look at the clock. What is one goal, just one, that you can take the first 2-minute step towards right now, as soon as this is over? The blueprint is yours. The clock is ticking. Go start.